Tyrannosaurus Rex means tyrant king. He terrorized the countryside, made the giant reptiles hide. Boom, 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 boom. Yes. Anyway, Megatron's a dinosaur from our imagination. No, I'm not going to start singing the Barney theme song, don't worry. So anyway, he's here. He's Masterpiece Megatron, Beast Wars Megatron. He is big purple dinosaur with green stripes and light purple stripes. Really cool texture, like he's kind of grid patterned-y. And he's got, like the purple detailing is kind of like cyber camouflage grid patterning on the edges. And he does have like the leathery, scaly skin. He's really cool in Dinosaur Mode. Real quick, as a size comparison, before we get too far into it, here he is with the previous Ultra Class Megatron from Beast Wars, the original one. Actually, not the original one. This is actually the 10th anniversary one with the new head and better paint apps. But you get the idea. It's the same mold. So he's much larger than his previous Beast Wars counterpart. But yeah, otherwise a very large purple dinosaur. He comes with his bio card, Megatron Beast Wars MP-43, with his crazy ass high stats. Crazy high stats. Whoops. A correction manual, the manual affixed, I learned. I have Google Translate, where now you don't even have to like take a picture, you can just hold it up to things, it'll translate. And apparently this up here says manual affixed, this dark right under MP-43. But got a few tips and things to show off there. You get his big glossy instruction manual with cool pictures, and then little things you can do and all that. Standard stuff for a Masterpiece figure. Having done the Megatron, Beast Wars Megatron size comparison, I will say right off the bat, you're not going to get... I guarantee you, I'm not going to compare him to all the figures that you want me to. Just right off the bat, I want you to know that because... one, I sold Masterpiece Dinobot and Cheetor a while back. I don't regret that decision. I'm just letting you know. I don't have them to compare them to. And I just want to have fun. Like, this is a fun figure. Like I said, I didn't pull my whole Beast Wars collection out. But if there's a specific figure that I have that you would like to see him next to, I will post them on my Twitter. Find me over there. It's the same name, PEAUGH on Twitter. And just say, hey, can I see Megatron with this toy? And if I have it, I will happily take a picture of him with it. I'm just not pulling my whole collection out. Anyway, now the FYIs are over. Here is Megatron. He does have, speaking of Dinobot, he comes with stand adapters. We saw a lot of pictures of him on the stand, the same stand Dinobot has, and it turns out because it is Dinobot's stand. They do not include a stand with Megatron. You just get the adapters to use with Dinobots. This one is to go on his back piece in robot mode to support him. This one supports, you can see right here, it slides over this piece, supports Dinosaur Mode somehow. Oh, here we go. But just like this. There we go, like that. And you can attach that to the stand. And then this other piece fits over. You can see it's the same shape as this. It all connects to the same piece, which sits behind his waist. It's open in robot mode. And this is to hold him up so you can attach him to the stand, and this will support him so you can have him up in the air in robot mode and make it look like Optimus Primal's about to throw him from a lot of the promo shots in the TV show. So that's what the stands do. I'd show them to you on a stand, but they do not have one. And that's about it for Dinosaur Mode accessories, unless you want to put the laser blast in his mouth, but we'll show that off in robot mode. So here he is in Dinosaur Mode. He's got some decent posability. Like, there's a few gappy where the panel is, and some of that may just be because I had some trouble getting him folded back up. He has a lot of panels to line up and snap back into place. I can see this. There we go. Back into Dinosaur Mode. He does have the tip of his tail does rotate, so you can hinge that around. He's got ball joints up at the shoulders for his little dinosaur arms, and he actually even has a little bicep swivel on his little tiny arms. His feet, his legs have a little bit of posability. You do have the knee here for different things. He does have a clicky ankle tilt, both front and back and side to side. Each of his little toes is individually posable, which is kind of cool. The back toe is not. It's attached to his heel piece. You'll find, like, while there's a lot of delicate folding, let's put it that way, in the transformation. Like, for the most part, he transforms generally the same way that the old Ultra class does. Like, you pull these off to the side. These fold up more than the old panels, but the head and torso are the same way, where you like pull the head up and then pull the torso out and twist it. And you can see here's the two panels, and then this piece folds down to form the claw arm. So it's really kind of neat that they it's so more elegant and yet basically the same. He does have posable pupils. You can see he can move his little eyeball around. Just there's no little lever to do it. It's just with your thumb or your finger, and you can, if you want, fold those pupils up into up to be hidden in robot mode if you don't want to have two sets of visible working eyes. But it's entirely up to you. That's on both sides. Here's the other pupil right here, just moving around. His jaw opens. It's double hinged. It's got a hinge here and then a larger hinge up here. So you can get a really wide-mouthed screaming dinosaur. His tongue is also on a little hinge, so you can have his tongue facing out. That's a little bit of a large opening there, but it is your choice. And he's got... Oh. I heard Destron Henshin at the end there. So yeah, he's very long-winded and apparently has many sound clips. Somebody said upwards of 30. I am not going to sit here and try to get through all of them. I'm not familiar enough with Japanese to know when we've hit repeats. but yeah, I was going to point that out. Up inside of his, right up in here, there's a little screw. You put two batteries in, and then one of the things that it took me a while, I was freaking out that I thought maybe mine was broken or the batteries I had gotten were dead. There's a panel right here on the back of his head, and you have to lift that up, and inside there is an on and off switch. So make sure you have to turn that on after you put the batteries in. And once that's done, this butt piece right here, you just push on it. And he'll spout one of apparently several phrases at you. Like I said, the Destron Henshin that we just heard, the very long-winded one, I have heard that one previously. I don't know if they reset. I don't know how that works, but there's a lot of sound bites in it. He also had, you can move his head side to side. You can rotate his neck there. That's more for using it as an arm in robot mode, but he does have some neck articulation there. Oh. Anyway, so once you've had your fun with that, you're probably going to want to use that on-off switch to turn it off, or maybe even just take the batteries out entirely. It takes two LR44s up there in the mouth, and then two more inside the robot head to make the eyes light up in robot mode. So we're going to go ahead and just turn that off so we're not listening to that. We just have shades of, I am Optimus Prime, I am Optimus Prime, I am Optimus Prime. Anyway, big purple dinosaur. And I feel like that's about it for Dinosaur Mode. To transform him, like I said, you're going to want to be very careful. I know some people have already talked about cracking crotches, and I feel like some of that may be caused by one of the transformation steps, which, thankfully, after the first time, is fine. But the first time, it's a little scary. We'll get to that. Most of you, if you've been following any of this on Twitter or any of the social media or forums, you know what part I'm talking about. Although there are several scary parts in this. A lot of it involves these. You can see like the back panels here open up with about the same amount of leverage and size as the old Ultra, but then you can see all these little hinges that fold these panels up onto his back. You can slide them off. They're designed to be slid off for de-armoring him, but if they just get in your way or they're too much of a pain during transformation, you can slide those off and set them to the side and deal with them after the fact, and you might want to do that from time to time. But so to transform him, first off we kind of unhook his head here, and it can take a little doing. There we go. So you have to unhook it from the top and bottom and just kind of pull it out a little bit. There's a tab here. You can see there's tabs all around. But just get his arm starting to extend up here. Just release that from the body. And on the top, you can see these panels have already started to separate, but you got to very carefully, you want to separate these panels out here. You can kind of start to fold these back. There we go. Once you get those separated out, untab right here, because this lower panel is part of the leg. Make sure to untab it from this. And then same over here, just kind of right here, just untab that. I like to go ahead and start folding these up a little bit to get them a little bit more collapsed. So you take these are on double hinges, so make sure you're using those double hinges and be very careful as you transform them. And then fold them up. Bring down everything down here. You go ahead and bring the legs down a little bit out of the way here. And this whole panel is going to come out on this hinge right here. So you can, there's the whole side panel. And that's going to fold up to be a lot more compact in robot mode. But like I said, if they get to be in the way or you just don't want to deal with them, you just lift up. Let me need to fold this panel up out of the way here first. But they should just slide up. Up and all. Okay, yeah, we have to wait. We have to wait a little bit to get this out of the way. But I like to go ahead and fold them up. And basically all that entails is taking this, fold the dinosaur arm down like that, fold that back. And it's really pretty intuitive. Fold this down and around like this. Fold this panel in. Just basically whenever you see a hinge. Now, this piece, these two tabs do tab in here on this panel. And what I found is, because there's a double hinge up here, it's there and there, is to kind of fold it around on the top hinge first, and then move this and line it up. And then once you got those lined up, just kind of massage that hinge a little bit until that stays in place there. So fold that up. And then this whole assembly comes down, just kind of rotates down like this onto the underside. But we'll do that. We'll do that after we get the legs out of the way. Wait, did I do that right? There we go. Again, bring this up. Plug that in and just kind of massage that until that stays in place. Bring that down to the side. You can see right here is the cut where these are going to slide off later. Now here was where it was scary because you have to, you see here's his head. Go ahead and lift his head up. His face just came off because it's very easy. So pull the head up and snap it into place. This piece right here extends. Oh, no, it locked. Okay, it locked back again. I had it not as loose. And this is difficult. And this is where I think some people might be damaging their hips. I think some people might be grabbing onto their hips to try and loosen this. And you don't need to do that. But you do need to rotate or untab these. You'll be trying to grab it down here to pull this. But this is very scary. And I found that just kind of getting some pressure here, like this, and popping it apart. There we go. It takes some firm, gentle pressure, but you want to extend this piece. It really should have had a button release, but it does not. So get that down. Be sure to fold this panel all the way in, and fold this piece up like this. And then you're going to slide this whole assembly back together here. You should just slide right back. Although there is a, all right, double hinge there. Well, once you get it all lined up, this should slide just straight back. There we go. There we go. You just got to get it lined up. Slide that all the way back. And here's what I'm talking about. These things, you can just slide them off. They have a little sliding tab here. But you got to get this panel that folds into his back out of the way first. However, once that's done, you can just take this, this hinge right here. You just bring it up so this piece is sitting up above it like that. So it looks like that is how you want it to look. With the dinosaur, with this piece kind of sitting underneath the dinosaur arm, this piece folded back, this piece tabbed in, and kind of fold it up like that, and it will just sit on his back as a as a decorative piece. And the same on this side. We'll just go ahead and bring this down, fold it up. Make sure you attach it all the way when you put it back on, like that. And we'll arrange those better later. Now, this piece has been cracking on some people. Like, I keep thinking there is like some swirly plastic, and I keep thinking that there's a crack already in it, and it's just how the purple swirls in it. But do be careful with this. Some people have reported it cracking. I don't see any evidence of such on mine yet. Nope, again, that's just a purple swirl there. But, yeah, be careful. And like I said, I feel like it may be some people grabbing here to try to extend that chest piece. I could be wrong on that. But go ahead and rotate his legs around like this. Bring him down. Bring him down. Oh, that should have stayed locked in from this piece. There we go. Make sure that locks in. You know what? We're just going to attach that later. His legs come around at the knees, just like they always have. Like that. Pop this this panel. You can pull these off. And again, if you want to during transformation, they slide off. Go ahead and pull his heel out here. Let's just get his legs done. We'll go ahead and pop these off, but you don't have to pull them off to transform, but it's a little easier. We'll just stand him up so he's at least standing in the background, and then we'll get to the rest of it. So these panels, like I said, they sit right here. You take this panel, you flip out, you open this up, fold this panel inside, like this, push this panel in, flip out the gun, and then close this panel up, lock it into place, and then it does actually snap into place onto the thigh and locks it to keep it from rotating. So again, we'll do it with one attached. So while it's attached, you open it up, fold this panel in, fold that panel in, it kind of locks together. Flip out the little guns and close that up. And again, there is a piece that snaps. There's a tab or a slot right here on his thigh, and this tabs into it and just clicks into place. We're almost done here, folks. We'll go ahead and put his back piece back on, since we're probably not going to knock it off again. Probably, he says. Fingers crossed. But yeah, you just fold these in around on his back, which looks bulky, but it's actually a lot more elegant in person. And then you can just kind of arrange them however you want. This arm, you just bring this down and extend it around. And you got his elbow, and again, you can rotate the head, open it, hide the eyes, whatever you wish to do there on the dinosaur head. Oh, I didn't show those pieces off, but yeah, so we'll attach those, and these can just kind of sit behind his head like that. And then this arm, much like his old one, make sure this is straight, you just open these panels up, which unlocks this piece. There's a double hinge here, so make sure you pull that all the way out and down like that. And then you can wiggle his hand out. His fingers like to get caught. There we go. Push his shoulders back. Push these pieces down. And there is, if you want it fully extended, there is a tab inside here. You can lock it on like that. Bring his arm down. And then he's got a full hand in here, unlike his old version, with posable fingers and thumbs. And you can have him. Here it is, completely latched. If you want it latched on, it's a little bit more extended that way. Personally, I like to leave it unclicked in and just kind of on his arm like that. But however you want to do it. He does have a little bit of a forward elbow there, although not on this side. This side only bends this way, so if you kind of have to have this bicep facing forward, whereas this bicep you kind of want on the inside, unless you want the arm on, unless you want this on the underside of his arm. You can do that too. You can have him walk around like this, but then this panel kind of gets in the way. So it's really up to you how you want to display it. Personally, I think it looks better on the side of his arm, but it's entirely up to you. He does have light up LED eyes, I don't know how well those are showing up, but they light up longer than primals did, several seconds. And again, the laser blast, we did mention that. If you open up his dinosaur jaw, right there in the back, there's a post where you can plug in a laser blast. So he's shooting a laser blast out of his dinosaur mouth. You can close the mouth around it. He has a toothbrush. I mentioned that. He's got a little slot on it, so you can put it in his hand. And it does just kind of fit in here into his hand. It tabs in right in here if we can get it. Okay, it's hard to see here. There we go. Well, just kind of holes in the slot. Yeah, there we go. Just kind of rests in the slot. It doesn't tab. Then he can gently brush his teeth. And to do that, he does have the ability to de-armor himself. So for right now, we're just going to pop his tail off. And the tail, you just, right here on this black hinge, where the black hinge meets the forearm, push it towards the back. Just slide it down like that. And you can pull this off. So with his just bare arm, he can brush his dino teeth. So they're nice and clean. Although I have heard some people say that the toothbrush already chipped some paint off the teeth, so just be careful with that. But yeah, so he can brush himself. With that panel off, you can also give him his giant purple gun. Again, it doesn't tab in, but it does rest in that same slot as the toothbrush. You fold his fingers around it, so you can have a gun. You can attach, or maybe somebody just wedged it in there, but I don't know, maybe it works. You can give it use the blast effect on it if you want to have him shooting his rifle. Although that's, bring it down a little bit so you can see the blast effect there. And real quick, he does have a couple different faces. This is his neutral face. Don't worry, we're gonna de-armor him. It's just a matter of getting there. This is his neutral face, and you just, like I said, sometimes just pushing his head forward and pops his face off because it just slides up and off. There's the LEDs inside there, just two red lights. But he's got a neutral face, a grimacing face, and a kind of a yes face. So we'll go ahead and put that on. There he is with his angry face. And here he is with his triumphant face with the eyes lit up. Real quick, we'll go ahead and put this back on for just a second. So we can show him off with, where'd he go? Masterpiece Primal. The two Beast Wars masterpieces I have, which I'm happy with. Light up their eyes. But yeah, he's much larger, although that is fairly close to cartoon scale, so they look great together. And then, as mentioned, for his rest and relaxation phase, you can, like I said, this comes off. I already showed you how these come off. Just untab them, rotate them back, and slide them out right here. Like that. These panels, again, just pop them right off the back. And then his shoulder panels, too. You just pop them up. They just kind of clip onto this hinge. It does help if you rotate them, because then you're not pushing off over the over these pieces. But yeah, so there he is. He still has to keep his dinosaur head, but you can strip him down to a basic robot if you want. Let's go ahead and put him back together. Put those back on. Backpack panels. Back on. Leg pegs. You should be locked into place. What do you? There we go. You see, there's the tab that tabs into the leg. Whatever. And there he is, back as his full purple majestic self. He's really cool. I mean, like I know there's some people who are concerned about that crotch breaking, and man, it seems to be hit or miss whether you get it. And I hope you don't if you're buying this guy, because he's fantastic otherwise. And also, real quick, because I didn't do it, here he is with his previous self, who, like I said, does have the remolded head, so he's closer to screen accurate than the first toy, but not as awesome as this guy. But yeah, fantastic figure. I'm happy to finally have him in the house. MP-43 Masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron. My only hope is that if they do bring him over here to the United States, we do get a legit David K voice box, because as cool as it is that they put so many voice clips in him, it's just so weird to hear him not being that deep rumbling David K voice. So hopefully they will bring him over to the States and they will include a David K voice box. But he's great. He's fun. Again, a little bit of a risk you're taking with the crotch, but I feel like if you're careful with it, it shouldn't happen. Just, again, the worst part of it is getting that chest to collapse or to uncollapse. And as long as you're not grabbing onto the hips and manhandling him with that, although it's frustrating to try to find a place to grip it, I think you'll be okay. Masterpiece MP-43 Megatron. Beast Wars. The version, not G1 or G2. They haven't done a G2 Masterpiece Megatron. I'm kidding, I'm done.